Alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the vlog and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, please subscribe or also check out some of my other videos. I've been doing a lot with the S10 here lately. And this is actually a new project that you guys haven't seen yet. This is my 93 S10. And of course, I gave you guys a teaser upload the other day of this truck. And we had talked about doing an LS engine and changing out a few things on this truck. So I did go ahead, however, today and put some tags on it, and it's reinsured. So this thing is ready to drive now. It's finally back, and this is the next little project that I wanted to get rolling on here. And this is something you guys may have noticed in an older video, but I went ahead and redone some things on it, and I'm going to put it back in here. So first off, let's go over the interior, because this is what we're working on today. And this truck is pretty mint. It's a 93. It's got 129,000. I bought it with 53,000. Of course, you know, I've got the sub and everything in here, you know. So this thing is pretty mint. And we've got, a little tack in here and a couple other nice things. I got to get some speaker panels. I just dropped those in. The other panels were cracked. I'm going to go ahead and get some of those, and I'll do an upload on, getting a few of these other things. Now, today, though, let's cut right to it. What we're going to do is we're going to put a second-gen console and a first-gen S10. So, these seat belts, of course, will have to kind of come out of the way to set the console down in here. But it's been in here before, so it should fit in here this time. Now, the only way to make this possible, guys, is to grab yourself a set of second-gen S10 seats, and when you have a first-gen and you have a bucket or a bench seat in it, you've got two holes here and two holes back there. So you're going to be drilling a hole here, 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 and here for these brackets, basically, for everything to bolt in. These seats are power, and they set really well. Of course, the S10s are kind of small inside, so that's just kind of the nature of the beast with these trucks, however. But we have everything in place to put our new console in. I'm still doing some cleanup on this thing, so, we'll be adding some things as we go. But I'm pretty excited. I'm going to change the wheels up on here. And I know some of you are probably thinking, why would you change the wheels? Well, the whole scheme of this truck is old school. And the wheels that's on it are kind of a modern, sort of a go-to wheel. I mean, you see torque thrust, rev, that's what they are, they're rev classics. It's basically a torque thrust. You see that on about every S10 or any kind of a hot rod in general. So I'm ready to move on to something a little bit more original. And, rallies are kind of common too, but the idea of this truck is for it to be a daily driver. So with that in mind, I want a wheel that's easy to maintain and is, fairly affordable. And I'm looking to get a fat tire under it. If I'm trying to build basically the ultimate daily driver, I need to have something that's practical that can be used every day, and I don't have to clean it every 2 seconds. So, okay, let's go over these wheels. This is the other thing. Squeaky door. But these wheels are extremely nice, guys. The Rev, it's a Rev Classic, kind of a torque thrust looking wheel. They look really good, running 245 40s and 275 40s on, 18s. With an 8-inch wheel all the way around. And they look great, and they're tucked pretty nice. It gives you a really good appearance on this truck. But I do have some problems with it, and, if I'm going to daily drive it, I want something that's more practical. And I know you're probably thinking, well, what's wrong with that? Well, okay, every 2 days, the wheels are covered in brake dust. They're terrible for brake dust. And, you could replace the pads, and I'm sure that'd help, but let's omit that. Now, the weather becomes a factor. If it rains and it sits on these wheels, it water spots. You kind of get that hard water look. If you're going to daily drive something, you're going to get in the rain and you're going to have some water spots. So I want to get something on here that's more practical, that's affordable, because these are really too nice to be screwing up in daily driving. They will go on for car shows maybe, or, if I'm only going to drive the truck on nice days. But that's something we're going to change up, and that's something I look forward to doing. But, also, this thing's not perfect, okay? First impressions, I'm sure you guys are probably thinking, it's a pretty mint truck. It looks pretty good. It's been repainted. This thing was done several years ago, I think 5 or 6 years ago, and it got daily drove, and it got 70,000 miles on it when it was painted. So, it got a lot of miles. And you can see the result of that would be a few rock chips here and there, you know, but the hood, the front of the hood got beat up with rock chips, but the rest of it is actually awesome. I kept tons of wax on it, but I couldn't stop the rock chips, man. It was just really hard to keep all this stuff clean and, you know, having no issues. Even down the bed is actually really good. I mean, look at that. The depth of that's still awesome. And I can't complain about it. You know, overall, I do like the paint, but we are going to be repainting the hood, and also we've got problems right here. You know, as you can see, there's a little bit of cancer starting to develop here, surface rust. And then there's paint chipping and flaking back in here on the roll pan. So that's just a couple of things that we're going to have done. Basically, the roll pan's going to get repainted, tailgate's going to get repainted, the hood's going to get repainted, and this is the biggest problem of the entire build on this truck. And I haven't really shown you guys this yet. This is awful. This is what happens to first gen S10s. It's about to rust through. It's really bad. I can try to plasti dip over it and maybe hide some of it. You can tell where I tried to plasti dip it, and it just didn't work out so well. So it's killed, and I'll be doing a full upload on this truck getting either an all-over paint job or just having some things touched up. Obviously it's not that bad, but we are going to talk about doing paint. That's something that's going to happen this summer. And you know, we're going to talk about doing an LS engine. This is a 2.8 5-speed, so it's actually pretty reliable and it's fairly good on gas. I don't really care about how fast it is. It's 2.8. You can't expect much out of them. But for a daily driver kind of build, it's going to be awesome. And you know, later on, obviously the plan with this is an LS. That's what I've said I was going to do for years, is that I'm going to build an LS out of this. And I don't know what kind of an LS. I may do a 5.3 and an auto. I may do an LS3 and a 6-speed. I really don't know. It just depends on what comes up, how good a deal I can get, and what's available around me. So if you guys know where I can find a 4th gen Camaro that is, you know, got a good donor, I would love to get my hands on it. That's what I'm looking for, is preferably an LS1 and a 6-speed, because they're more readily available, and the LS1 is a light aluminum block, and that's kind of the direction that I'm trying to take. So back to the point of today's video, I did want to give you an update on this and say that we have brought it back, and here it is. I am a man of my word. This is the Project S10, which is back. So I'm super excited to have this thing on the channel and start a build series on it. So you guys definitely want to subscribe and hang around for this one. I know I'm doing a lot of talking today, but I'm trying to introduce you guys to this build. So if you're following along, you're going to get the first look at this thing before we change the wheels out and all this other good stuff we're going to do. So the point of today's video is this 2nd gen console. Back to that. This thing came out of a wrecked Blazer in a junkyard. It was gray, and the Blazer had caught fire. So it had absolutely wrecked everything in it except the console. I don't know how. The console was fine. Everything's there. Of course, it's got no bottom in it. I've got the tray at home. I don't have the tray with me. But for what we're going to do with it, it really don't matter. I'm not using it for storage. It's more or less for this and the cup holder. So another thing, if you have a 5-speed and you're looking for a console, you're going to have a lot of problems finding one that has this in it, because they don't. That's impossible to find. We had to cut this out. So what we did was we kind of made a template, and we cut out for the shifter, and that'll allow you plenty of room. So the next part, we're going to go ahead and slide this thing in, and I'm going to show you guys how tight it is, yet how sort of functional it is. Alright, these are extremely tricky to put in a 1st gen, and I think I may have to have it in a different gear, like possibly 4th, because 1st gear is pretty close to the dash, and I don't think I might be able to weasel this in. Let's see if this works. I mean, it really fits like a glove. Like, I'm actually thoroughly impressed with how this turned out. I'm going to set you guys right here while I work on the seat belts, because you've got to make sure and keep the seat belts out of the way as you drop it in. Other than that, I mean, this is awesome. I mean, that's what I love about GM, guys. I literally just found this thing in a junkyard and got it for like 30 bucks. Sprayed some vinyl and fabric paint on it and dropped it in here. and she's good to go. Of course, it doesn't have a bottom in it, but, you know, it hugs the bottom of the pan so hard that you really don't. I'm not going to put anything in it, okay? I'll just save you all the intensive purposes there. Anybody else wants one? Yeah, that's fine. Put the bottom in it. I just don't happen to have it. It's at the house. So, it fits pretty well. I mean, let's get you a shot of this. So, here's your final look. I mean, look at this thing, guys. This is excellent. So, I've got a place to set my arm now. It dropped right in. It cleared everything just fine. I know the lighting's probably not the best, but it cleared everything wonderfully, and it sits really well, you know, as far as the gears and stuff. You know, it hugs the shifter boot just a touch, but it looks kind of factory in here. Let me get you guys some better lighting. It's a little better. Now you can kind of see how well this thing sits in here. I mean, it's a little shiny. I probably could have went with like a matte look, but I thought, let's go shiny. That way it just looks new and nice all the time. Now, the vinyl and fabric, you can find that at any auto parts store, and I dyed the entire thing. This thing was gray, guys. I mean, it was like an ugly, burnt-up gray look, and it was faded. But, you know, once you dye something, you're good. Like, this thing looks brand new. Like, my second-gen S10, the ZR2, its console looks equally as good. So, as you can see, the fit is rather awesome. I mean, push it down the rest of the way. You can see the line where it actually had set at one time. This thing is excellent, and you can kind of maneuver your boot around too to get it to fit a little better. You know, I just kind of threw it in here just to be honest with you, but it fits the boot pretty well if you cut it out. And it looks factory. I mean, that's just awesome. Let's go to the driver's. Let's go around here to the driver's side. Give you guys a better look at the fitment on this. I'm really impressed. You know, to be able to just nab a second-gen console and toss it in a first-gen, you can't beat it. And for you guys running autos, you got it made. You don't even have to do anything. So here's the fit. And you can see I'm even running a kicker sub back here, and I'm fine. I've got like maybe half an inch of room. And up front, of course, here's the other thing that you all may not like about this. It will block off your lower heat, kind of. You've got this other port over here at your feet, but the one in the middle is kind of blocked off, so you know the heat's going to kind of get in here, but I'm not too worried about it. I drive this truck in the summer. I've got the Z for the winter. I don't care about heat. But it fits really well, and you can see the bucket seats that's in this truck. There's where they bolted in and drilled the holes for everything on the other side, but there you go, guys. There's a second-gen console in a first-gen with a manual. I'm pretty stoked. I can't wait to go down the road in this thing. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Let's go through a couple gears and see, make sure everything moves nice and free. You can hear the boot rubbing on it just a little bit, but you know, I've got plenty of room. It's actually pretty in a neutral position. It's pretty comfortable to sit in. That's the build. I wanted to introduce you guys to this thing completely. You know, I kind of gave you all a rundown the other day, but I wanted to let you know that we've put it into action. This thing is happening. We are rolling on the LS S10 project. I don't know how long this is going to take. I don't know how long of a build series I'm going to do. I'm trying to upload 3 times a month, so I've got a busy schedule. I work for Snap-on, so we do a lot. It's hard for me to get out and do things, but I did want to give you guys an update. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure and subscribe and follow all of my builds. And you can also follow me on social media, but click right here to follow me and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. I'm out.